sermonette today is about kissing. Kissing. Maybe you think you heard me incorrectly, but no, I said the sermonette is about kissing. That should be an attention getter. At least my intent was to get everybody's attention by telling you at the beginning that the sermonette is about kissing. It may elicit different responses from different people. I have come to find as time went on that Jackson and Mason aren't all that happy about kissing. They were a little bit happier about it earlier, but of course the older you get, cool becomes more important. And since cool has become more important, they're less interested in kissing or being kissed. They'll come and their mother says, "Give Papa a kiss before you leave." And they try to avoid that for a while. And then finally, after some insistence on her part, they'll come close to me and give me a hug and try to slip away quickly without really getting involved in the kissing. So that's one response, avoidance. When I was a teenage boy, and maybe lots of teenage boys reacted differently, of course, the thought of kissing a girl put fear into my heart. So you can have different responses. Now in 1965, whenever Hazel and I were married, then kissing became a very good thing. And even when you're 70 years old and you have a beautiful wife like Hazel, maybe it's still pretty nice to be able to kiss. So this sermonette is about kissing. I found the idea in the art museum in Cleveland when we were there with Thomas Shabbat. Mr. Shabbat likes to go to art museums. To me, they're absolutely boring, but since he wanted to go, I decided, okay, I would go with him, and I followed him around looking at the paintings there for 3 or 4 hours. There was one particular painting that made an impression on me, although I can't tell you what it was of now. What made the impression to me was the scriptural reference that was there with the painting. It was Psalms 85, verse 10. So we'll be looking at that verse, and since it's a Bible subject, the kissing will be allegorical, not literal. So everybody can relax about this. What we want to do in this sermonette is to examine Psalms chapter 85, verse 10. It is a prophetic, let me say a little bit of introductory material about the psalm. It is a prophetic psalm about the end of the captivity of Jacob, and yet apparently it is also literally true, because the commentators seem to feel it was written following the captivity of Babylon when the Jews came back to Jerusalem. So it's about the end of the captivity of Jacob, but there's another end to the captivity of Jacob that is coming. So we can look at it as being prophetic. Psalms chapter 85, verse 10 reads as follows. Mercy and truth are met together. And this next part is the part that I remember from the wall adjacent to the painting. Righteousness and peace have kissed each other. Righteousness and peace have kissed each other. There's some very interesting comparisons here. We have four nouns that we're talking about: mercy, truth, righteousness, and peace. And in the middle of those four nouns we have two verbs, two different verbs. One, they have met, mercy and truth have met, and two, righteousness and peace have kissed each other. So, four nouns and two verbs. When it says that mercy and truth have met, question comes, why do we have meetings? When they have met, that means they have had a meeting, doesn't it? For what purpose would mercy and truth have met? Why do we have meetings? Well, we have meetings for purposes of planning things. The companies, like the company in which Hazel and I worked for some 40 years, would have meetings and we would consider what jobs we will bid. It's a planning meeting. We may have meetings for planning purposes. We have, from time to time, meetings to evaluate something. How are we doing? You know, you see all of these budget meetings in Congress from time to time. They are to evaluate how the spending is going compared to the budget. And so meetings may be held for purposes of evaluation. Meetings may be held to learn new things. Now, tomorrow is the Super Bowl, and I'm confident that both teams have had meetings to learn new things to employ during the Super Bowl. And so that's another reason why we might have meetings, to learn new things. But the fourth thing, which I would think is probably what's being talked about here, is we have meetings to resolve differences. Mercy has one point of view, and truth has another point of view. Now, the author here has put personification into these four nouns. He has given them personality characteristics when they're really spiritual concepts. But the personality characteristics and the verbs that are given there help us to understand what's being said. Truth, on the one hand, we might look at what it says in Ezekiel chapter 18 and verse 4. There, it's a pretty dramatic statement that is made from God's truth. It says, "Behold," Ezekiel 18 and verse 4, "all souls are mine. As the soul of the Father, so also the soul of the Son is mine." And then here's the part